Have you ever stopped to think about the true meaning of the word love? In a world where feelings can be confusing and intentions aren't always clear, we often forget what truly matters. The parable of the Good Samaritan, told by Jesus, is a simple story, but it teaches us deeply what it truly means to love our neighbor, regardless of their background, beliefs, or actions. In today's video, we'll explore how this parable teaches us to live love in a practical and transformative way. In Luke 10:30-37, Jesus presents a man who was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. During his journey, he was attacked by thieves, beaten, and left on the side of the road, nearly dead. The man was in a deplorable state with no resources to stand up. Then, a priest and a Levite, people of great importance in society at the time, passed by him. But instead of helping, both ignored him, walking on the other side of the road. Now, here's the part that changes everything. A Samaritan, considered an enemy of the Jews, approached the wounded man. The Samaritan, seeing his condition, felt compassion. He didn't just help, but did everything in his power to care for the man. He cleaned his wounds, put him on his own animal, and took him to an inn, where he paid for his stay and promised to return to ensure everything was well. The Samaritan demonstrated selfless love without expecting anything in return, and without looking at the differences between him and the wounded man. Here's the big lesson. True love doesn't choose who to love. The Samaritan didn't look at the man's social status, ethnicity, or religion. He only saw a person in need and did what he could to help. What Jesus wants to teach us here is that love isn't about who deserves it or not, but about the willingness to help, care, and act. But why is this parable so relevant to us today? Because many times we are like the priest and the Levite. We walk by those who need help, whether due to fear, apathy, or even prejudice. And by doing so, we miss the chance to live the love Jesus teaches. The Samaritan shows us that love is more than words. It's action. It's going beyond what's expected. It's doing good without expecting anything in return. Jesus, by telling this parable, challenges us to rethink our attitude toward the needs of others. Are we willing to help our neighbor even when it costs us something? What are we doing to ease the suffering of those around us? And more importantly, do we see people as Jesus sees them, with compassion and unconditional love? This story also teaches us about the importance of having an open heart for those who are often considered different. The Samaritan was seen as an enemy by the Jews, but it was he who acted with the most kindness and mercy. This makes us reflect on how we treat those who are on the margins of society, those we often ignore or even despise. Are we being like the Samaritan, willing to help those in need, even if they are different from us? Love, according to Jesus, isn't just a feeling but a choice. Choosing to love means choosing to act, to take a step in the face of someone else's pain and suffering. Jesus teaches us that to truly love our neighbor, we must be willing to sacrifice, to step out of our comfort zone, and do whatever it takes to help. The Samaritan didn't hesitate for a second before helping. He simply did what was right, and that's the model of love we should follow. True love isn't limited to friends and family, but extends to everyone, without exception. Jesus calls us to love without boundaries, to go beyond cultural, racial, and religious barriers. If we want to follow Jesus' teachings, we must love unconditionally, without looking at differences, only with a heart willing to help and do good. Now, you might be wondering, how do I apply this in my daily life? Well, The parable of the Good Samaritan challenges us to look around and identify the needs of others. It could be someone who needs financial help, someone who needs a listening ear, or even someone going through emotional difficulties. Sometimes the opportunities to love are right in front of us, and it's up to us to decide whether we'll act or not. True love also involves humility. The Samaritan didn't brag about his good deed. He simply did the right thing because it was the right thing to do. And this is another important aspect we need to understand. True love doesn't seek recognition or reward. It's selfless and genuine, done without expecting anything in return. Many times, we forget this and look for recognition for our good deeds. But Jesus teaches us that the value of love lies in its purity, not in the approval of others. In a world that often prioritizes individualism and indifference, the parable of the Good Samaritan calls us to act differently. It challenges us to go beyond words and live a love that transforms, heals, and brings hope. This is the kind of love Jesus teaches us, and it's the love that should guide our actions at all times. At the end of the day, the message Jesus leaves us through this parable is clear. We must love as He loved. Love without conditions, without prejudice, without expecting anything in return. Love with a generous heart, willing to sacrifice and help. True love is expressed in concrete actions, and that's what we should seek in our walk of faith. So, the next time you come across someone in need, think of the Good Samaritan and ask yourself, what would Jesus do? How can I demonstrate the love He taught? The answer lies in our actions, and that's how we can truly live the gospel every day.